If you've ever felt like the third wheel, this podcast is for you.
If you love Wheel of Time, this podcast is for you.
If you're bored and have nothing better to do, this podcast is for you.
Join Rob,
Megan,
and Jen
in celebrating the Wheel of Time
and its statistically best fandom
and ridiculous gaming skills,
and probably a few cocktails.
And find out which one of them will be the third wheel this time.
This is three-wheeling. Just as I remember this from last time, and it was so funny. Jen and I are like bopping in the background, and Meg's just there like zoning out on her phone.
Well, I was trying to post on Twitter that we were going live from.
For all the people that can't watch us.
Well, I said Patreons. That's what I said.
That's fair. That's valid. Good. Selling already. Perfect. Yes, folks, if you want to listen live to us berate Meg for staring into the void at the beginning of each episode, then you must become a patron. Enjoy
That's right. That's right. And wait a minute. Can you see us staring into the void during the beginning of that or no? Like if you're watching. Okay.
I mean, I can.
Yes, I know, which is so the whole dance I was doing, sorry, this sounds really dirty.
It was very performative and for you.
It was 100% for you, Rob, because I knew you were the only person on the planet who could see me in that moment. So that was
wow, that sounds like super voyeuristic, people-y kind of.
It was not a dirty dance. Please tell them it was not dirty at all.
I can nor deny.
No comment.
Whether a Sasara took place or not. No, it was just like a little bop type thing.
It was a bop.
So
it was a bop.
It was a fun bop. So, how we doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episodes 5 and 6 today.
I know. So much fun stuff.
Yeah. Controversial stuff as well.
Yeah.
People went crazy for. They're mad against and about. Yeah. So.
Very excited though. Very, very excited. I'm just like I continue to get more excited about the show as I dig deeper in, rewatch. Also, it's the morning out here in California. This is my morning voice. I'd like you all to enjoy that today. I'm gonna do the whole podcast like this.
Okay, maybe not.
Morning voice. Welcome to Three-Wheeling.
Welcome.
You guys are creeping me out. Stop.
What?
Meg is now the third wheel because Meg is creeped out by our ASMR voices.
And talking in her normal voice.
If you want to hear more of this, Rob will be doing a segment on What a Holiday with Morshadi, where we will be narrating items in a very provocative way.
Nice.
That'll be fun.
If you guys need other people to narrate, just get me at 8:00 in the morning. It's no problem.
It's 8 a.m. Eastern, so if you feel like talking
about it'll be a whole different voice. So we'll see, because here's my theory is that the caffeine will warm up my vocal cords, and by the end of the podcast I will sound quite different. We'll see.
We'll find out. Yeah. Folks, comment whether Jen sounds different at the end or not. So yeah. I love that. I love how we don't prep anything for an intro, and every time it's something interesting and different.
Hey, that is called podcasting for reals.
Yes.
Right.
We're very organic.
We are very organic.
Organic.
But we are going to kick it off with our usual structure. Meg, what you drinking?
I am drinking a Gray in Arbitration.
Love.
So I was having a hard time coming up with the title. So Troy actually helped me on this one.
Mr. Maz to the rescue.
Yes, Mr. Maz to the rescue. Yes. So it's a play on an aviation. And then when he said arbitration, I'm like, ooh, that sounds similar. So I was kind of excited.
Nice.
Good.
So this cocktail represents the Gray Ajah, a gray in color with a mild and pleasant flavor. Recipe is again a tweaked aviation recipe, but instead of using Maraschino liqueur, it uses Creme de Violette, which gives it the gray color. So in a shaker with ice, you pour 2 ounces of gin, London Dry recommended, 3/4 of an ounce of Elderflower Liqueur, 1/2 of an ounce of Creme de Violette, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, and 1/4 of an ounce of orgeat, which is an almond simple syrup that like you just get like a Torani like coffee syrup or whatever. So cheers.
Well,
Cheers.
It looks super cool.
Beautiful, and it sounds delightful. It sounds like
it is
soothing, like a gray. like
Yeah.
in a
Yes.
mediated
Got
kind
a
of way.
mediator. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A nice
Yeah.
sort of like mid-level kind of energy.
Very mid. Yes.
Yeah.
Very mid.
All right. Well, I am not drinking any form of mediation, but I will give you your ASMR moment with my apparently pod appropriate drink now. There's that.
Nice.
With
Nice.
my rattle and rum. So this is what I seem to drink every time we record. So
Excellent. Excellent. And I'm drinking coffee because it's 8 in.
valid.
But I do still have my bottle of rum chata sitting on my
You
desk.
should
here,
pour
so
some in.
I might do that when we get there. We'll see.
responsible drinking, folks. By the way, we recommend responsible drinking.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Meg, how has everyone else been? Like, have they been up to chaos?
So let's see. From Maddie's Insta, she's now I don't know like if she's like a spokesperson or something for L'Oreal Paris with Australia and New Zealand, and she just did a fashion show strutting her stuff.
Can I comment on that? You said she looks great. She looks like a marshmallow.
It's couture, Rob.
I know, but it's like it was a poofy marshmallow outfit. I'm sorry.
And if anyone can wear a poofy marshmallow outfit and look hot, it's Maddie.
It's Maddie.
So.
Look, she owned it. That's fine. I've seen the pictures and stuff, but it was like you're wearing a marshmallow. Fair enough. That's fashion life, but it was a marshmallow. So.
Other interesting piece of social media. So Watt series, or I don't know if it was Geeky Airy who posted it first, but posted a Google Earth image that showed by where they're filming in the Two Rivers, there's a waygate.
Yeah.
Looks like Jenn is unaware of this. This looks like
I am unaware of this. I missed this. You see my brain thinking?
Okay. I will go hunting for the photo then. So I saw this in the What Series page. I didn't realize one of the individual What Series people had posted it first and then it got redone.
I don't know if it was Geeky Airy first or not. I don't remember.
Okay,
but, it might have just been What Series. I can't remember.
That's
love that they didn't tear it down yet. No, well, we don't know that because who knows when the
Google
they could
have. Yeah, who knows when they
who knows when Google Earth was put. Where is it?
Actually, Google Earth does have dates on it.
So they posted this on the 25th, which cutely, I love how they put their own watermarks on it so they could point out if someone stole it. And I'm just like, well, surely if it's on Google Earth, people can then just go to Google Earth. No offense, What Series, but cute regardless. Right. So this is
that's
Waygate.
Awesome. Oh my hell. That's amazing.
Oh my hell.
Yeah. Oh my hell.
Actually zoom in. Let me see if I can save the photo and then I can open it up for zooming purposes.
I also want to piggyback off of that. Again, I'll take this with a grain of salt for sure. So someone in their comments on Instagram who's named Puyash, so it's PO0YA.SH. So it sounds body or I don't know. And I've never heard of this person before. Says that a trailer for season 3 got leaked and then taken down. Don't know if I believe that at all.
Well,
I didn't know if you guys had heard anything.
I did read an article about what was it? There was a trailer for some show that was like one of the production companies got hacked. I presume the company that makes trailers or someone who makes trailers. They got hacked and some of their trailers got like copied and like stolen in effect for like some of the TV shows that are awaiting release currently type thing. I didn't hear specifically which TV shows. Like for most of them, but there was one mentioned. There was like, what was it? It was not Wheel of Time that was mentioned. It was like Fallout or something else of that nature type thing. I can't remember exactly what, but no, not Fallout though, because that's just come out. So, but I would have known if it was Wheel of Time. I remember looking through and being like, oh, that's silly. So
anyway, I don't know, but I thought that was interesting and worth mentioning, whether or not it's real or
I
not.
feel like if that had happened, it would have been
there would have been a lot more
excitement over it. Yeah, I think we would have. There would have been some squeefulness. So I've flipped this Waygate image around 180 degrees because I think it looks better from this side.
Yeah, I agree. It's more. It's just like it feels like we're not looking at it upside. The other one felt like we were looking at it upside down.
It really did, didn't it? Yeah. I mean, when you take the picture out, it doesn't seem to change the landscape at all.
No. But now we're facing south, probably, or south is north.
Yes, probably. But I absolutely can't tell where this is. I bet, someone sweet talked Omar, he would tell us. Not publicly, privately. If someone got him, drunk on whatever it is he enjoys. I don't even know what he likes, to be honest, in that respect. But yeah, bless him. But very, very cool that there's going to be like an actual Waygate situation. Now that poses the question: if you get the whole Loyal and Gaul closing it type situation, be that a combination of Loyal and Gaul, Loyal or someone else, or anyone else doing it, how are they going to do it currently? Because we don't have a way
To
that we've
close
seen
them.
of non-Aes Sedai or non-channelers closing the gate. So
is it just tear the crap down? Tear it,
Just-
which means it might not be there anymore? Do we just tear it down?
Oh, can you imagine Loyal crying as he's like swinging a hammer or something, launching away gate?
Why are you breaking my heart?
Jenn said tear it down. I was just thinking,
But
who's
then
got
to
that
put
level
the
of strength?
Loyal spin on it, and then it broke.
No, but it's true. It's true.
Who
He
else
would
would
be.
have the strength to bash that down? I'm sorry.
I love that. I love this though, and it would be beautiful. It would be beautiful to see him being devastated by the destruction of it, but recognizing it was necessary. It's a very loyal thing to do.
Yeah.
I like this. I like this for us, and I've decided it is true.
Okay.
You're
That is
welcome.
happening.
This is what happens when my voice is low. I make decisions.
Yes. Loyal. We can now expect to see Loyal demolishing a Waygate scene in season 3, and him showing
Spoilers.
tears and anger throughout that, and anguish, pain, and suffering.
Yep.
Yeah, and it would be a little tease of what is to come of Loyal putting a long handle on Zax.
Putting along it, you know what? And I will actually venture another step further with this, which I know we're not speculating about season 3. In the very beginning, I went back and watched like Rafe's Comic-Con or something from like 100 years ago. And one of the things he said was that Loyal was one of his favorite characters. And I think he very quickly, when he came out, we all thought Loyal was dead. And he was like, he's not, he's one of my favorites. He's not dead. Loyal's emotional journey in the series is, not deep at all, generally. And I think it wouldn't surprise me if the writers team didn't end up just giving him a little more meat in the series.
I wouldn't say like emotionally, but I mean, when we see, when he first starts, he's a very young Ogier, doesn't want to challenge any elders or whatever. And then at the end, he ends up speaking at the stump and convinces the Ogier to stay. So I feel like that.
It does, but I think it takes us a long time to get there. I think we have the moment with Aerith.
The entire series.
Yes, exactly. And we have the moment with Aerith in the middle where, he's like, oh, did you see her ears? Excuse my vulgarity. But I think that there's, I just think I think we can give him a little more character depth. And I wouldn't mind seeing some of that here.
No,
and seeing it a little earlier. I think by season 3. And because we even like just the change of the Shanshan, him being sort of Dakovale and like what that meant, and the singing gave us a little glimpse of like we can see him starting to get, I don't know, I just think there's fun room for that, and I want to see the tears.
Yeah,
I'm here for it. Yeah.
I don't know, I think it could be a very, very powerful scene. So,
but I don't think you're right. I think you're right, Rob. We don't know.
Hire Jenn.
We don't have any other way for them to close a Waygate in this.
I mean, we've got that. What was that X-ray image of Padme Thane holding the trefoil leaf or something?
Yeah,
but that was never put in. Unless you're like us and you go trawling the X-rays and trawling for information across the internet, you're not going to know about those things. And so, if you see Loyal in the middle of a battle for the Two Rivers, being like, I gotta go and stop this Waygate because Perrin can't get there. Like, how is he going to do it? Unless he's going to demonstrate some new Ogier power that they're just going to add in, which I think would be worse of a change than adding in him physically demolishing the Waygate.
Right.
Agreed.
Which also breaks book canon because they cannot be destroyed or whatever, or it's almost impossible to destroy them. But I feel like that's less of a book canon break than giving Ogier some kind of magical power.
That's not totally true, though. Doesn't Moraine balefire a Waygate and then it's always open?
No,
she cuts through the doors, doesn't she?
Or something.
Rob and I both demonstrate.
Yeah, we're both doing circles
something.
for those that can only hear us. Yeah, she like gets her staff and like blow torches through the door, doesn't she?
Yeah, and then her staff burns.
Like a lightsaber.
Yeah,
like a lightsaber.
Exactly. I've always imagined it exactly like
episode one. A bit of unknown knowledge, folks. RJ was inspired to put that scene in the book by watching. Sorry, no, not RJ. Sorry. Star Wars were inspired to put that scene in the prequel movie, in episode 1, the prequel movies, where they try and cut through the blast doors because of reading Wheel of Time. So it's
wait, for real?
No, I'm totally making it up.
You fucking asshole.
Megan's so fun to troll in that particular way. So fun. And
I have such a hard time with Nablus at WatCon.
That was
I've been burned by him so many times, and
just assume Nablus is lying almost all times. Nablus is trolling. Like Nablus is like go-to is to troll, and then like 1% of the time he's just like, yeah, I'm going to be honest. And no, that's exactly right.
It's like reverse.
He's going to be like non-troll, is what I mean. So,
right. I suddenly feel like I've missed out on a literal lifetime's worth of trolling you that way, Meg. I mean, I'm the big sister. I'm supposed to be like teasing you and making you sad. And I don't know, not making you sad, but I'm supposed to be doing that to you and torturing you in that way. And I don't.
But it was reversed.
I don't. It was reversed. So I feel like I'm gonna. So buckle up, girl. Here it comes.
Okay. All right.
I love that. It's great. Okay. We tangent out of
course
the Waygates discussion there. Was there anything else apart from those couple of things? Really?
Couple more things. I don't know how much we want to talk about this, but Rafe seems like he has left God of War.
Right.
So hopefully that just means more of his attention on Wheel of Time.
I read this article,
and
the article did say like in essence the writer team walked out. That's kind of how it read, didn't it? But it didn't expressly say they walked out, but it read that way. Like the writers team have left. I don't know. Jen, did you read the article?
I did.
And what was your take on it as a writer?
I'm gonna filter a little. Apologies. I'm gonna filter a little bit. I'm not under any kind of NDA, and I don't actually know anything, but I might know a few things that I don't think I can talk about. But I don't know. Honestly, the way I read it was that, I got the impression from like Sony that they were just like, or there was some comment of like, we really loved the scripts. They were or from Amazon maybe, but that we loved what the writing team was doing with it. We love what Rafe was doing with it and the team. They were fantastic. We were just at a creative differences. It's a really difficult and very different. One of the things that Rafe is so brilliant at is character work. The characters in God of War have to be completely made up from scratch. Like there just isn't that much to them to begin with. And I imagine that was part of what he was like, we can't tell this story without it being about character. And so I just think there was probably a creative difference about which characters to focus on or which stories to tell, and potentially continuing to get direction of like, go this way. And he really wanted to go that way. And I just think it was probably creative differences. That's not unusual at all for a studio to get that deep into something, iterate, have multiple drafts of things, and just say, we aren't finding whatever common ground we need to find, and let's part ways and start over. So it's not uncommon or unusual at all. So I'm taking it all with a pretty big grain of salt.
I mean, I didn't read it and think, oh my God, Rafe got fired from something. I just read it like, okay, it actually talks about like how the scripts were there and it's great, and Rafe obviously works on a lot of like new content stuff for Amazon and Sony. That's kind of like his jam.
Overall or something.
He's kind of like set up God of War. He's done his like new content parts of his kind of like role with them, and like has passed it on to someone else. And he's just like, right, I can go back to Wheel of Time and whatever other new content kind of gets fed my way to set up, almost like he's someone creating, like setting up a store or a restaurant for then like a franchisee to come in and run. It's almost like, that's kind of how I took the vibe. And now what you've added to it kind of just makes that feel even more accurate.
Here's my second take on it, which I think. So Amazon just had, in the middle of him doing this, he's been developing God of War for 2 years already, at least, if not 2.5. in the middle of this, Fallout came out, and Fallout was exceptionally well regarded, and is a
And a
similar
video game adaptation.
as a video game adaptation, and a similar
Mhm.
thing without like incredible characters that people really knew, but deepening a little bit of thing, like,
Mhm.
and it was so well regarded, and it is tonally very different than Rafe and then Wheel of Time. And there's just like the quirky humor, the quirky offbeat humor isn't really what Rafe is necessarily known for. And my gut tells me that after the success of Fallout and everybody going off about Fallout, that Amazon was like, cool, love what you're doing. Can you make it more like Fallout? And he was like, that's not what this is. This is a really different thing. And then they're like, okay, cool. But in this particular script, this part could be more like Fallout. And he was like, that's my gut, is that they were just like, wait, we need to make it Fallout because that's what worked. That's the magic secret sauce. And
it's just like back in the day when we talked about Bluey and you're like, what's the next
Yep.
Bluey? Who's got the next Bluey? Make it like Bluey.
Exactly.
Right.
And they
That
were
makes
like,
a lot of sense.
make us the next Fallout. And he's like, this story is not Fallout. This isn't a Fallout story. So that's kind of my take, is that they were just like, and so when they said what I read in the article, and maybe this is me reading between the lines, is that they're just throwing it all out and starting it over. We like what you did with it. It's not what we want anymore. And I'm guessing that what they want is Fallout. So I don't know that they'll keep anything that he did, and that's fine. I mean, he got paid for 2.5 years to do what he's done on it, and that's how we do this business. In fact, yesterday there's a thing here called Lightbox Expo, which is like a con for creatives and artists and visual effects artists, and mostly animation driven. And there was a whole talk by Jorge Gutierrez, who's an amazing animation creator, called, I wish I could find it. I wish I had it in front of me. Something like, the career I've made out of all the shows that didn't go. So, and that is true. And I've done the same.
Right.
Like, you make an entire career out of things that you work on for years that never get made into an actual thing. And
that's so sad.
It's what we do, though. I mean, you got to think about it. Like,
really sad. I'm sad.
I mean, that happens in a lot of areas, I would think. I know for a fact that there's a lot of iterations, and this is obviously a very different industry to making film and television, but there's a lot of different iterations that go into menu development. Many dishes that are started or put on the drawing board that become something very different in the end, or just go, actually no, we won't do that, or that's too difficult to source the food for it, or this isn't the kind of theme we're going for on the overall menu, so this one sticks out, this one costs too much to make, so we won't add that in. Things like that. It's obviously a very, very different industry, but
that's
the amount of dishes I imagine chefs over the years have stuck on menus that as their first drafts of a menu, or first here's what I want to make, or here's what I want to produce for the company or whatever, that have never actually made it out to the customer because they never made it onto the actual final menu that went out to someone. There's probably thousands and millions of them that have happened. So it makes sense that happens with TV as well.
To dig into the food metaphor, you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true. I mean, and so yes, it's sad and it's frustrating, but Meg, I mean, from me, like that's part of what I do. And when I was an actor, people say you better love auditioning because your job is to audition. Getting the job is the icing on the cake. So you better love the auditioning process. And it's the same thing with writing. You better love developing. And I do a lot of developing, and it never goes. I mean, not never, but a lot of it, most of it, percentage wise, never goes. And you got to love that part of it. And I do. And so that's why I do it for me, not for the audience. I mean, I do it for the audience, but I do it for me because it's not going to go, most of it. So that's my take on what I think happened with that.
I like that.
Ding,
I think
ding.
it's
ding, 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 ding. I'm sorry. I'm like singing the song is still in my head.
I love that. Did you have anything else, Meg?
One more thing. Series says that there's one more new cast for season 3. Interesting note that they also mentioned is that it seems like, Watt Series estimates more than 100 actors have been added to season 3.
I mean, they're going to the IEL waste. I feel like we're going to get
just a bunch of IEL. Yeah. So anyway, this actor is
Jenn. What is that face? So what is that?
I dreamt I did background work on Wheel of Time. Like literally.
Did you just remember it?
Yes, like 3 hours ago, I was having that dream. that I was like on set doing something else, like as a writer, and they were like, "We need somebody, Jenn." And then I was like, "Oh my god, am I going to
Jen,
be?"
you're tall and fair. You're an
Yeah.
ideal.
I think I was going to be a
Put on this red
Damane.
wig, you know.
I know, but no, I think I was going to be a Damane. I'm
Oh.
so. This was like just literally like 45 minutes ago. I feel like this is where my headspace was. I just remembered it in this instant. I'm sorry. I got very excited when you said 100 cast members. I was like, am I in that list?
I mean,
anyway.
we three should be in that list. Myself and Meg is just extras with like some lines here and there would be great.
I'll be
like,
an innkeeper slinging drinks.
Reoccurring extras, Amazon. That was what we would love. I would be some kind of. I could be a peddler or a merchant or an innkeeper or something. I'm not skinny. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then Jen would be a writer who occasionally is a stand-in extra as well. When we need
she's a bard.
Yeah.
Or a gleeman. Yes.
Yeah. So 100 extras, or 100 extra characters or people added to the cast.
And so this one is Anne Ogbomo, cast for season 3. So she has played in the past. She was one of the Amazons, Philippus, in Wonder Woman and Justice League. And so she's tall. She's 5'10". So again, I think because she's an Amazon and she's tall. Feels very Maiden of the Spear.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she did film in South Africa, so that gives us either Aiel, Age of Legends, or Tanchico, probably, according to what series.
Wait, did you say she was redheaded?
No, she's black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah, I saw the photo. She is.
Rob, do you have the picture? Or
I do not, but I can find it for Jen.
Or Jen, do you want to look up what series?
I can look up. Okay.
Yeah. This is not the same at all, but sorry, was there any more news, Jen, before I say this?
No, that was it.
Okay. So I stumbled across something that kind of made me chuckle a couple days ago. I wasn't well earlier this week. Something I had disagreed with me and left me couchbound for a day, shall we say.
No.
Yeah, it was not a fun day. But I just put on random movies and things of that nature and, slept a lot. One of the things I was watching was a movie by a woman, primarily based on a book series by a woman that I won't name. But it was the last in the trilogy of Dumbledore's Secrets, the Fantastic Beasts series, with Eddie Redmayne there. And it's at the end, and I'm not going to give details just in case you haven't watched them for whatever reason you don't want spoilers. But they're at Jacob's Baker at the end, and obviously there's the big event between Jacob and whatever, so on and so forth. And he calls in his assistant, Albert, talking about
that's right.
And different things.
Yep.
And I had no idea that his young assistant, Albert, is played by Donal Finn. And he just come in, yes, Jacob. And I was like,
I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't seen. Okay, now, so we again, like not mentioning the name of the person, but we really enjoyed the first film, and I have it in screenplay form actually, which they they bound them as books, they're actually the screenplay form. At least the first one was. Maybe the other ones aren't. Anyway, and we were so excited to go see the third one. It was like the beginning of us going back to movies after COVID, and then we never did, and we still haven't seen it.
Honestly, I really enjoyed Mads Mikkelsen as.
Mads I love Mads Mikkelsen. He could just stand there, and he'd be perfect. He's brilliant.
I love him.
He's so good.
Yeah, he was brilliant. But it really made me chuckle because not only is Donal in a magical world movie situation, and he is just somebody kind of on the sidelines. But then obviously he did something similar in The Witcher where he was just a random person on the sidelines.
Wait, he was in The Witcher?
Wasn't he in The Witcher? Am I right there? Am I wrong there?
No, he was. Netley.
Yeah, thank you. I was right. Yeah.
I don't remember who that was.
So he was just like some person in the bar, basically.
It's hard to see anybody else other than Henry Cavill.
Yeah, he had like one line against opposite Henry Cavill, So, but again, there we go. So in a magical world where he's just some random guy in a bar. Okay. And then here he is in Wheel of Time, albeit a much bigger part, but still a non-magical person in a magical world. I was like, dude can't get a magical break.
Nope. Do not hand that man a wand.
Do not hand that man a wand. Yeah, exactly.
Oh God. Can you imagine if like Matt Cawthon had an actual magic wand? What would happen?
Oh my god!
Yeah, that'd be bad.
That
would
sounds
be
like a
bad.
question for the Flickerverse show. What if Matt Cawthon had a magic wand from there?
fun.
Oh, well, you know that's the thing is that you give him one magical item and it happens to be a cursed dagger. So you pretty much just have to
Right.
say no more for you, child.
Mhm. You
Right.
had your you had your
Mhm.
limit. So,
Which is
yeah.
a nice segue into our topic for today.
Yes, it
Yes, it
is. Which is episodes 105 and 106 from season 1. I don't know why I had to say that, considering I said 105
With the question?
and 106.
You still need to say it though, because I'm here.
That's fair. Yeah. So
Not
this is not. We didn't watch
season
season
two.
7 yet. Okay, Jen, calm
Mhm.
down. All right. So these 2 episodes, this block was directed by Sally Richardson Whitfield, and episode 5 was written by Celine Song, and episode 6 was written by Justine Jewel Gilmer.
Justine,
so-
who is now doing head writing at least on season. I think it was basically head writer on season 2. I mean, if you watch any of the background stuff, she's the featured writer for
Right,
most of the
yes.
stuff in season 2, and I think Rafe has made her his number one.
I mean, it makes sense. She's pretty
she's-
awesome. So.
She's fantastic. She's brilliant. Yeah.
So, initial thoughts on these episodes?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. 105 was, I don't know. What's sticking out for me in 106 is just, I forgot how much it's really just Maureen's POV in episode 6. Like, are there any scenes that she's not in?
A couple here and there. The Egwene and Perrin scenes. Oh no, they're in episode 5. Sorry, aren't they?
Yeah, I can't think of any scene that she's not in 106.
She's in.
I mean,
well, wait. Other than the cold open with Suan
Oh yeah,
as a child, but really, it's everything. She's in every. I took a note. Maureen.
Even just standing on the side if
Yeah.
she's doing nothing, because the scene with Swan and the girls, she just stands
She's
there and
there,
does nothing, but she's there.
Yeah, she's in the entire episode.
Potentially my favorite line from the entire series is in this episode, though.
On your knees.
In episode 106?
Almost. The Amerlin waits for only one woman.
Oh yes,
And it's
not
not
you.
you.
Yes, it's a very good line. Yes.
I also enjoy, which Jay, you probably won't like. One of my favorite quotes from that episode is, "If wisdom is the title you claim, you'd best start using it," or whatever she said.
No, it's great. I don't mind. I'm such a naive stan, but she needs to get sat down over and over. And even in the books, I feel that way. I'm like, just close your mouth, stop talking. Just get yourself in hot water.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, you learn from failure, and like getting put down a little bit is a form of failure in some ways. So yeah, it's it is fun. Until you actually said it, Meg, I didn't realize that episode 6 was just Moraine constantly for an hour. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because I try to take notes on every scene, or at least make a note of every scene, like who's in it, where it's at. And literally every single one, other than the cold open, is Maureen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Also, the music. The music in episode 6 is beyond. Beyond.
I think this is, in terms of the music that was written for season 1 and when they used it, I think this block was probably peak for the season.
100%. Yeah.
So this was, and that's making me think of the difference between the start and the end of episode 5, which is obviously, we've got the funeral for all the folks that died during Logain trying to be freed by his followers, which is very much starts with, Alana and the, very high pitched singing that she's doing. And then we get to the end where you've got the Tibetan throat singing by the guys. For I forget his name now. Seppens. Yeah. And it's also, episode 5 is probably the biggest or most on the nose balance sort of reflection, however you want to word it, thing that they do.
Bookends.
Like bookends. Well, not just that, but like it starts, it's high pitched, everything's white. oh no, it feels everything's dark sort of thing. But like it's a high pitched singing and stuff, and then everyone's dressed in white, and it's like really, really deep singing and stuff. Like you know the opposites and the balance of everything, which is a big theme for the show in general.
Yes,
right.
You know, was most on the nose and in your face with episode 5,
and the symbolism.
Sorry, Jake. Go ahead.
Well, okay, go ahead. You go first. I got it. I'll hold it.
I was just gonna say, so in the beginning, it's a very restrained, serene type of ceremony where there's not a lot of emotion, and then the last one has Lan, which I'm not gonna lie, the yelling or whatever, fine, but when he rips open his shirt, it really takes me out of it.
I mean, that was a little overselling it. That's fair. Yeah, when I watched that, yes.
I loved it because when I remember listening to, maybe it was Daniel talking about it in an interview, or maybe it was one of the writers, but I remember like they're just like the comment of, and that this is actually a practice in some culture, and I apologize for not remembering which one, of you be the point person for all of our emotion, which was the idea of this. Like you take everyone's and have to like
the designated mourner, I believe is the phrase.
Yes.
Right.
And it's a really beautiful image, and to me it's such a beautiful like conceptual image of like one person taking that all for us.
And also goes with his character of like he feels he has this duty to support everyone. So I totally get that and am behind that for sure.
Yeah, like what he was doing in the scene was pretty accurate to the real life you know, the real life practice that they've based it upon. But I think the way it's just delivered in the scene, it's almost like it's trying to oversell it, even though it's pretty accurate in terms, like the shirt bearing thing, you know, or the chest bearing thing, not the shirt bearing thing. You know, that is a practice that happens, but it's not, you know, it's not sold that way because it's not on screen and it's not done for dramatic purposes and such. So, and you know, it's Daniel Henney. Like, let's get him naked when we can. You know, like
there's that.
Yes, please.
There's that. So they weren't wrong. But I was going to say, this is something that didn't occur to me until I know we've talked before, and like the fandom has talked before about this symmetry of the throat singing versus the high pitched singing for the women at the beginning, the women and men. Like I remember at the beginning of hearing that they were making our show into a series. I remember trying to sell the books to people before the series and saying it's really amazing. Okay, the gender thing gets a little like it doesn't translate to 2020s as well. Like I remember telling people about it, and I was like, okay, so here's the thing about the gender thing. It's like really, really deep, and there's no room for gray in the way that I mean, I agree that there is, but at the time I was telling people about the books, like back in 2018, 2017, I was like, and I was telling it to some younger generation people who were just like very uncomfortable with how gendered the books were. And I was like, okay. And I get it. I respect that. So I wondered what they would do with the show. And I love how they've handled it in the show. It's still a gendered magic system, but there's a lot of room, certainly, you know, in sexuality for in between. And there's just a lot of room. This to me was a really beautiful way of showing that dividing line, the woman's high pitched voice, the men's throat singing, like, you know, and the two different genders, you know, representing for their people. It was beautiful. But the other thing is that this symbolism of grief, and I just rewatched WandaVision, and as I was rewatching WandaVision, I had forgotten that when I watched that series the first time, I was like, what a great commentary on grief. The whole series is about grief. And I was like, I feel like there was something in Wheel of Time that made me think the same thing. It's this episode. This is the episode about grief and about how to it's not only like we lose Aes Sedai at the beginning that we don't really know, but we lose Aes Sedai at the beginning and see a funeral. We lose a warder at the end and see a funeral. But the entire episode is about Stepan dealing with his grief. And it's so beautiful. And in the Wheel of Time, where it's a cycle, where it's a circle, where it's the snake eating its own tail, like this is the episode that has the imagery of circles. When we first saw the trailer, I made my image on YouTube and my image on Twitter.
Still have it.
I still have it because I love it so much. I didn't know they were dead Aes Sedai. I was just like, this is a cool image with like weird white things in it. And I'm taking it and making it mine. It's a bunch of
I'm gonna use those dead people as my logo. It looks pretty.
I would like a funeral, please. But the other one I almost picked, which I didn't know at the time because it was trailer, was from the same episode, which is the White Tower. When we come up and see the White Tower for the first time, and you see
for the Hall of the Tower.
The Hall of the Tower. Wait, is
Mhm.
that the next episode? That must be an episode.
That
So
is
it's
the next episode.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's both of these episodes. But it's interesting that's where we're also seeing that circular imagery, because there isn't as much in the rest of the season. It really was these two. And again, going back to a director directing two back to back. We have a down shot of this Aes Sedai symbol in the dead sheep earlier on in the first episode. But this is really the one where we get those
Well, yeah, the
full-
Yeah.
dragon's
Yeah.
fang.
yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
so last time when we talked about episodes 3 and 4, I was talking how this kind of did for season 1 what Shadow Rising does to the series, where it's just like, boom, here's a big widening of the story, loads of people coming in, loads of bits of information about loads of different things. This one, it's as we've started to do them in blocks instead of episodes, I've noticed this now. Episode 1 and 2 was like, here's the little village, here's the setup for the story, here's your drama, here's your chase and your run and your danger. Here's episode 3, here's your block 2, which is like expanding of the world, all this extra information. Block 3 is like, okay, so let's get you some nitty gritty about people that are going to be really important for the rest of the series. Let's show you some really important things about grief and processes, and talk about, give you some in-depth into politics and stuff, and, schemes behind schemes, and, what's on the surface and what's below, and all those different things. And it is like different chapters. It's like, it's the same show throughout them, but what they're telling in each block is so different. And it's so obvious when you watch it like this.
Yeah.
So I'm loving it. Just the different, like you say, the circles in these two episodes is really, it's very in your face is the phrase that comes to mind. That's not accurate. That's not what I mean, but it's very,
it's on the nose. It is on the nose.
Yeah.
I mean, not in a bad way. That isn't.
No, only in a way when you like watch it back and you're like, I'm actually going to pay attention to what's happening and make notes or things like that. So
I mean, look, symbolism. I love symbolism in writing, in imagery. I think that's half of what we do in storytelling is, how do we make this something that we can like grab onto and remember that thing to evoke the feeling or the emotional journey that we're going through. I love it. Love it. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, okay. I have a question for you about episode 5.
Okay. About episode 5. Hit it.
Yes. Specifically, like a simple weird one, but like, what about the title? Because I was like, when we got the titles before season 1 dropped, Blood Calls Blood.
Yeah, Blood Called Blood is 5.
And we all thought it was Faldara. Yeah.
Yeah, and 6 is the Flame of Tavlon.
Exactly. And then we hear Blood Calls Blood in season 2. I mean, when we actually hear right? And we hear it as the Lanfear. Yes. It's the Lanfear prophecy in season 2.
Yeah.
Which it isn't. I mean, it does say the Daughter of the Night happens in the Dark Prophecy in Caldara, but it isn't as specifically about Lanfear as they make it in season 2. And so anyway, Blood Calls Blood.
I think it's just talking about grief and death,
Okay.
Right?
Probably. I don't know. I think I'm still confused about it.
So episode 5, we got a lot of Perrin and Egwene and the White Cloaks. Obviously, we got the funeral stuff. We got Matt and Rand arriving at Tavalon and meeting Loyal and that sort of stuff.
We have the wolves. And so
bits with the wolves when they're escaping. Yeah.
And we have
Aemon Valda carving up his back.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think you're right. Blood Calls Blood. I'm not really seeing how it links to. Let's go back and talk about the other episode names. So episode 1 was called Leave Taking. I think that's obvious.
Yep.
Shadows Waiting for episode 2.
Shadow Logoth.
Shadow Logoth, all that sort of stuff. Yep. A Place of Safety for episode 3.
Which is not a steading, but it is the Tuathon.
Yeah, Tuathon. Yeah. Dragon Reborn for episode 4. That's all Loghain. So yes, episode 5, Blood Calls Blood. Interesting that there's no obvious sort of thing that pops out there.
I think it's the grief. You start with grief and you end with grief.
It does. It does. Well, it is. It does. Yeah. It does have symmetry to the title in terms of the word.
It does.
And last.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Stefan puts his dagger in the same place that Karene got whatever it was from Loghain.
Oh, I missed that.
I'm pretty sure.
Megan, you're the three-wheeler with more insight than
Were you
anybody
there
else.
with like a full notebook analyzing everything? Like,
She does.
here's me.
I
I'm
do
watching it
have a full
casually on the
document.
couch.
No,
Yes.
I was gonna say it's a spreadsheet, Rob. It's a spreadsheet.
It's
It's not a
No, it's
spreadsheet. It is just a Word document. It's
No,
not a
it's
Oh.
not. Who are you?
Is it
I'm-
bullet pointed at least?
Yes.
It is bullet pointed.
Okay,
Yes.
there we go.
I
Yeah,
love it.
interesting. All right, so now I'm
Yeah.
curious about other episode titles. The Flavor Tavlon, obvious. The Dark
Yep.
Along the Way is obvious.
Right.
The Eye of
Yep.
the World, obvious.
Yep. Yeah.
And then if we wanted to hop to season 2,
I think I remember this throwing me off when we were like anticipating what they might be about, in the beginning.
yeah,
Mhm.
Episode
I
two. Okay,
do you know
episode
what?
season 2.
So episode 1 in season 2 is called
A Taste of Solitude.
A Taste of Solitude.
Where they're all
Okay.
by themselves.
They're all by themselves. Yeah, that
Yep.
kind of makes sense. Strangers and Friends,
Min and Matt meet.
Men and Matt, all those, other things.
Yeah.
There's some meetups and things like that.
Yep.
What might be Rand
That's
asks
not
about
needed.
the
That's the
testing,
Yeah.
the testing.
Mhm.
Daughter of the Night, Lanthir appears properly.
Yes, but
Mhm.
it was sad for Matt because he was excited that was the episode title, but she's barely in it.
Yeah, true.
Good going.
Damane,
Yeah.
obvious. Eyes Without Pity.
Well, no, Damane was interesting because we all thought that was the episode that Egwene was going to get tortured in,
Right.
and she
And it's
wasn't
not.
made Damane until the end.
Right.
Yeah,
that
but
Oh,
still, that is why they called it that, obviously.
Yes. And frankly, I felt like all of the episodes, season 2 titles were this is how the episode's going to end. Because the Taste of
Mhm.
Solitude was everybody, but we really see Rand by himself at the end.
Right. Yeah.
Strangers
Daughter of the
and
Night
Friends.
at the end. What
the
might
end.
be at the end.
Yeah.
Strangers and Friends at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Demand at the end. Eyes Without
Mhm.
Pity. How does that end? That ends with.
I mean, that ends with her screaming and crying after she's been, quote, broken.
Yes.
Mhm.
Dares to Martha, episode 7. This is all like Swan meeting them at the Waygate and stuff like that at the end, and that
Mhm.
plans with plans and
Mhm.
then
And at the end, finding out that her sister knew that her son was a Dark Friend.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then episode 8, what was meant to be. I mean,
The
he
dragon.
has to proclaim himself. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the end of what happened, that makes sense. So going off that, I think the only thing in episode 5 that really goes blood calls blood is if it's not grief, it's got to be I think it's got to be Perrin. The Perrin connection with the wolves.
Yeah.
Blood calls blood.
Yeah.
That's the only
Of
thing.
course,
I think.
it comes back to Perrin with you.
Oh, of course. Or actually, to use Perrin as an example, but actually it fits for everyone, is what is actually going to happen for everyone really calling them. So Matt and the dagger, and his trouble with darkness. Yep. Perrin in the walls. You've got Nynaeve trying to find her place, being powerful and like accepting authority and things like that. What have you got with Rand just trying to like get by and keep secrets?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like almost like a what was meant to be.
Yeah,
like setups.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Little glimpses of the series of the future for them. Yeah.
So
yeah, because and then like so to me too. I remember they always say that the phrase they use in the book all the time is the blood runs deep in Manetheren, like you're tied to your ancestors. And I remember even when Blood Calls Blood, when I first read the prophecy, I was like, oh, does that have something to do with them being Two Rivers people? Like this is a long time ago.
Yeah, because it's not even the episode where they all finally get back together.
Yeah.
They all start. Wait, are they all in Tavlon by the end of that episode?
Oh yeah.
Well, no, because we just see Egwene and Perrin leaving the White Cloak camp. We don't.
At the end of 6.
Yeah.
No.
At
the end of 5.
At the end of 5. Well, actually,
they're being called back all to the White Tower.
So the summary here: Swan Sanche questions Leandrin, and Moiraine's traveling. Visiting Matt, Rand Moiraine detaches Matt from the dagger. Moiraine also found Egwene and Perrin. So they're found in episode. That's episode 6. So maybe they got to the tower by the end of episode 5.
But we don't.
They're all caught. We don't see it. Yeah. So I suppose you could say maybe it's them all calling each other back to each other. I suppose. Yeah. Probably the hardest one to actually pin down why they use Blood Calls Blood in terms of an episode title. Most of them are. It seems to be we've gone through and been like, yeah, it's this or yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
So A question for Wraith. Wraith, why was episode 5 called Blood's Called Blood? Was there a specific thing in that episode that encouraged you to use that as the title for the episode? If so, what was it?
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
We'll ask him. We'll ask him
So,
when we see him. When you
yeah.
see him, Rob.
And my question for Donal when I see him be like, right, so this is your third TV show that has, or your third production that has magic in, where you've played a part that is non-magical. How does that feel? And also, is Eddie Redmayne cool person as he seems to be? Because I hope you met him. Also, did you try and convince him? Now, do you have Henry Cavill's number, and can we call him and get him to be the Golem?
Seriously, we need him because he's a Wheel of Time fan.
He's a Wheel of Time fan. I don't feel like
Morden.
No, I want him to be the Golem. Can you imagine a hot? Yes. Can you imagine Henry Cavill as the Golem?
No, a golem is like, no. In my brain, a golem is like a little skinny, weaselly person.
But you can imagine, yes, yeah, but imagine Henry Cavill slipping through like cracks and things and just being like stabbed and being like, did you? No, that meant nothing.
No.
But it would be like,
no,
it would be like when they cast Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine, but like, no, doesn't fit it at all. Literally not described in that way whatsoever. And then
he was
who
perfect.
Could possibly ever have been Wolverine ever?
Wait, Henry Cavill, actually.
No,
Henry Cavill. Right. Found out.
Just saying.
I rewatched that the other day. I watched the third Deadpool when I was like, oh, the Henry Cavill moment is perfect.
I loved it.
Good.
So great.
That's so good.
I love him so much. He is one of us. He is one of us.
He really is. He really is. I really, really love. Henry Cavill is someone I would just love to hang out with, I think. Like he seems like such a genuine person. Right. I have one question left. And Meg, I feel like you probably made notes on this. And it is a Perrin thing.
Of course.
Ish. It's not Perrin's in the scene, it's more actually an Egwene question.
All
Meg.
right.
Yeah. No, I lied. It's Egwene adjacent. It's a Valda question.
Oh.
She throws a fireball at him.
Yeah.
Which disappears and just sort of puffs. Now, you absolutely could take that to be like she used it as some form of distraction while she burns ropes to free herself and Perrin. But I would like to raise the question that the fandom talked about at the time of Valda having some form of the Foxhead medallion or something like that.
Well, and I did quote what he wrote. So he said, when she did that, he said, "You'll find me harder to kill than that girl, especially with a fireball so small."
Yeah,
so why is he so confident?
But especially with a fireball so small. Okay, if he has the terangrial where weaves melt off of him, if he does, I'm not saying he doesn't. Okay, it's a fox. Never mind. Sorry, I was like, "What? Wait, is it a wolf's head medallion?" No. Okay, and then I was like, his fear of wolves. If he has the medallion, and that's his truth, it wouldn't matter if the fireball was small or not small. So why does he even comment on that? To me,
he's very confident that channeling cannot harm him.
I don't think. He is.
It's a form. It could be a form of misdirection, couldn't it? You know, or maybe it has limits. Maybe he believes it has limits. Like, you know, certain channeling. Like, I'm not going to walk into the White Tower and try and slay every woman I see. Aside from ignoring the fact there are waters there, let's just say that you know, even if there weren't, because maybe he thinks there's limits to what it could do. Well, obviously, this is, you know, going way beyond what might be written down anywhere for his character. But you know, maybe he has something like that he has discovered protects him from channeling, you know, that has been passed down to him or he's gotten somehow. But because it's never been tested the way an Aes Sedai would test it, he doesn't know that it, you know, if it is like the Foxhead medallion, that it actually doesn't have limit.
I feel like he's got to have something.
Yeah, but
I really do.
Okay, I know, but I'm not. I just don't. To me, I think he's got to have something. I agree with that, but I haven't been able to buy off on it being that it is something like the Foxhead medallion, because sure, I don't think Valda is so brave that he would be I can see him being like, "Hey, all, let's go fight these witches. I'm the only one who's safe, but let's all go." Yes, that's possible. I don't think that's out of character, but he does, like, he takes his questioners with him when they go to, like, cut off the hands and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like there's an aspect of they're all still walking around when, okay, let's just say that that the hands is not the end of it. He feels safe enough that she's tied to a stake. If he's the only one who's safe in that moment, why is she not torching the little boy who brings him the quail to eat?
Well, and also when he brings, or when the White Cloaks bring Egwene into the room with Valda, they tie her hands to the chair, like upward facing. So I do feel like there's some sense of like, if they cannot use their hands, they cannot channel.
Sure.
So I don't know. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's his truth as well, which I think Egwene is then going to prove not true or be true for herself. But I guess I feel like there's something else. He can see the power in them, like, I don't know. I just feel like there's something else. I'm not convinced. And I am much more of the line of like, I don't know that she could create a bigger fireball at that point, but I also think that it was a distraction. I think I agree. And Egwene's Maureen says to her in episode 2, use your brain. It is what you do with it. It is not about the power. It is how you think about it. And then and then Swan says it again in the next episode. And to me, this is a moment where she's like, if I can distract him long enough to get Perrin free, because at this point also she thinks they're gonna kill her if she can free Perrin. Right. And so like this
which
is about,
she does sacrifice herself at the end somewhat with that.
Yeah, because she shows the power so that he'll choose her.
Yeah, and she says, Perrin, I know you'll eventually like come back from this or whatever.
Yeah. So I don't think she's I mean, not that I don't think she can kill him. I don't think she's that powerful yet, or has that much control yet. But I do think that it's really just like she's already calculated it. If I can get him to pay attention to me, distract him, I can take care of this other thing and get.
Oh no, 100%. I
also
agree.
hoping
That was
she
just
gets Perrin can save her too. Like that's part of it as well. But Yeah.
I'm having watched it back. I don't necessarily think he's got a fox head medallion, but I think he has something that the questioners, his lineage, or whatever, in some way has come to him. The people that have had it prior to him and himself have learned this helps deflect the power, at least. Perhaps there was, at some point an object made, because it's like Star Wars. When you build in something that is all powerful and cannot be stopped, you have to then build in a way to stop it, because otherwise it becomes, just stupid plot armor. It's just like, well, gateways. Like, it's like, well, if you have gateways, why do you need any other form? Like, just pour 1,000 Trollocs in. Well, Darkspawn, Shadowspawn can't go through gateways; they die. You have to build in your own restrictions, otherwise it becomes unbelievable. Lightsabers is the same thing. Suddenly, in the new movies, there were these like anti-ray things or whatever they bloody called. I can't remember what they were. So it kind of makes sense to have this almighty power, and then these people that don't use the power whatsoever and are all men, basically fascists, tracking down women and killing them. Well, you need to use a supreme number of men to take down a woman that's not caught off guard with, especially if she's got borders and things of that nature. So, for me, it makes sense that here's like a limiting item for the power. So I think that we'll find out he's got something not necessarily known to all the White Cloaks, but at least known to the chief questioner, which Valda is, and he uses that to his advantage, which is why he has a big collection of rings, because then the questioners could use that. Look, our head questioner is such a mighty, powerful warrior. Look at this. He can take down Aes Sedai.
What is the chief questioner's title?
High Inquisitor.
That's it.
Yeah. And who was it?
So, it was.
Might have been Carradine. You might be right.
Asawana.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
And then other notable ones we had Ainur Saren, which I don't remember, and then obviously Jacob Carradine. And then I think he kills. Is it Gawain? Whoever kills Carradine after Asawana dies.
Here's a theory.
No, you're right, Gawain.
Here's a theory. Are we gonna? Oh, okay.
What, say again?
I couldn't even say it.
I thought Meg says something that I totally missed. There, and you were like, "Go on." Right? Okay.
This is an example of character merging. Have we not? Has this not been discussed? Valda and Carradine.
No, I thought we had a Carradine. Didn't we have someone rumored to be Carradine?
No, well,
This
maybe rumored, but not to my knowledge.
Who's the White Cloak in cold open of season 2? We don't know.
It's Bors. Well, I mean, it's Bors and it's Carradine in the book.
Yeah, but maybe it's Valda. Maybe it is Valda. Remember that Valda says something to Egwene and Perrin in the tent about
what
not
would make you think that
about not keeping his oaths, like
Right.
about like what makes you think that I'm a man of my word or something like that,
Oh,
or
yeah.
you know,
I
or
thought we had somebody that Watts series was pretty positive was Carradine.
what series?
Or there was like some
isn't
sides or
100%
something
right.
that came out.
Yeah, what series
might
is
have
not always 100% right. That's very true.
I don't know. All I'm saying is that like this would be an easy place to merge the characters, because why make Valda a Hand of the Light? Like, you know, like why? There's just I don't
mean,
know.
no one's explicitly said he's High Inquisitor, but he acts like he is. Doesn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean
Mhm.
the kid brings him his thing. He sits there. He's
Yeah,
got the
so-
rings. You don't have the rings. You don't have the rings to be the person who's doing all of this without being High Inquisitor. And when
Yeah.
and he considers himself an equal to Jeffrem Bornhold
He does.
because he's like, no, you're not. We're not walking away from these people until I put my hands all over her in the creepiest horrible
Ooh,
way. You
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I like. Yeah. Okay. This is a character merge thing that I just had not recognized until right
I think
now.
that fits. I
think, and I think he's a dark friend.
Yeah.
So
I
yes,
feel
he
like
could
we've
easily have
talked,
something from
or not
Ishii.
we, but other people in the fandom have talked about it,
Probably.
and we dismissed it because of something Watt series said. But that's just
I'm
my
bringing
brain
it back.
telling me.
Well,
Okay.
Bringing it back.
we can still throw this around. We've got like,
We should
167
keep a
days
tally
left.
of theories and who's wrong, and I'd love to see Jenn
Yeah,
be
come
wrong
on.
several
Okay.
times.
I'm
we'll-
wrong all
we'll-
the time, Meg. We
Yeah,
know
I
this.
mean, that's how I make my content, is to be wrong all the time. Literally, I am posting daily a countdown to
I love
season
it.
3.
I try
And,
to
you know,
like them
I've
as much as I can. Yes.
Thank you. I've had people be like, wait, did I miss an announcement? I'd be like, no, it's me having faith in a theory. And then like one series a few days ago was like, I put it at like 140-ish days, not 170.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Mhm.
And I was like, I would be glad to be wrong because
Yeah,
I am
have
wrong
faith.
on 9 out of 10 theories I have. And you know, like I would love to have it a month earlier. That's totally fine by me as well. So
Yes, please.
you know.
I did have
yeah.
one more thing to talk about with episode 105.
Yes.
So when Stepan's talking about when he's like, I don't know if I want to say praying to the Forsaken, but doing that whole like whatever thing with the Forsaken and the incense and whatever. He says, so he's trying to keep away Ishmael, the father of lies. He needs to see the truth. And then and then it says, or like somebody says, I don't remember who, Forsaken sold their souls for eternal life. So I know there had been like some theories and people talking like maybe only Lanfear was the one that had gotten immortality, but this to me says that all of the Forsaken have for sure gotten immortality.
Yeah, they all got it. Yeah.
But it's also, I think it's also the theory, right? Like, isn't that
then
part
how
of
did
it?
Ishmael die then?
That is the
he
question.
wanted to.
But
Maybe,
see, no, he's worried
maybe
about coming back. That is the thing. He's expecting to come back because he's like, I can't get out of the fucking cycle. I want to break the wheel.
I mean, like there's two things for this. Firstly, I would point out that Mogideon was shown at the end of season 2, and she knew who Lanfear was. You know, there was that recognition. So there's no way that it's like, you know, eternal life hasn't continued there, because if it was only Lanfear who got eternal life, then Mogideon breaking out wouldn't recognize Lanfear, like, unless we're not going to count them being sealed away as time passing, in which case eternal life is irrelevant at this stage.
Doesn't.
Well, then it doesn't matter whether they got eternal life or not, because the ones that got sealed away back in the Age of Legends will also be the ones that get broken out now. So
isn't the story that in the books that they're so close to the seal is so close to the bore that time slows down, so they aren't aging in the way.
But then there's Agenor and
they were too close to it, which is why
that were too close, which is why they aged.
They were too close to the seal or too far away from the bore.
But I would also, in terms of Ishii's situation, it helps you keep true to the books a little bit, because Rand does kill them in the books, or quote kills him. But secondly, eternal life doesn't mean you have that one body for the rest of existence necessarily.
Okay.
It could be
your soul,
but it doesn't mean that. Like literally, it could be like your soul. Okay, I'll put you in a new body. You know exactly who you are, and you just carry on living again. And we have literal written text to back that up as book.
So
canon.
that's what we would take as immortal life, not necessarily because Lanfear uses the true power or the dark one uses the true power or whatever to bring her back from a slit throat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like maybe they have those options. Maybe, you know, Ishi's like, do you know what? It's, you know, I'm gonna call this done on this body, and I'm gonna like the dark one's gonna, because he wants to die. The dark one's like, nope, new body. Whereas Lanfear's like, I don't want to die. So
I love this body.
Get back up. Yeah, I love this body.
And
I mean, also Natasha O'Keefe in a very respectful way. We love your body too. You're like, yeah, you're a beautiful person. So
exactly.
And
but
extremely
so again,
so,
Henry Cavill for Moradin. Henry Cavill for Moradin.
But Ishi does say something like, I see nothing in that moment. So there is like something about how he tricked Rand to do that, to do blah blah blah, is something. There is I think we will see that at the end of season 1 he tricked Rand into acting and to give him what he wants. In the end of season 2,
for sure. And he also manipulated Swan through her dreams into getting everybody to go.
Exactly. So I think there's some of that. But I forgot, this was something else that I wrote down about that scene, which is Steppen says, who are you praying? Whatever. I'm praying to the father of lies. It's because he's literally lying to Lan in that moment about the sleeping draft. He's lied to Nynaeve to say, I need more of the sleeping draft. And then he uses it on Lan.
And so he can go and pop his clogs.
He is trying to trick Lan at that moment so that he can go and kill himself. So I think, I was like, oh, like I really, it wasn't that he needs to see the truth. It was like that he wants to cover up the truth for all the people around him.
This is true. This is true.
Which I loved. I loved.
Yeah. Great couple of episodes. I know there were like a lot of diversions from the books, and there was a lot of controversy over, like the Steppen stuff and the funeral and Lan being emotional, all that sort of stuff that like freaked out all the book cloaks. But on a rewatch, especially in the block format, I think it really, it's like another step in the journey in the story. And it really does. It brings us book moments, not necessarily page for page, word for word, but book moments we recognize and can enjoy whilst bringing us a new story at the same time.
Yeah, I just listened to the scene. I just listened to Rosamund's version of the scene in the boat where Swan meets Nynaeve. Yes. And again, I was like, yeah, she doesn't wrap her up in air and flip her upside down, but it's all there. It is the same scene. It's the same scene. It's there's like all the important information is still gotten across. I think it is a masterful retelling of our story with giving us new surprises and things that we find along the way. And people say they're giant changes. They are not. They're small changes that have been expanded to be valuable and to be worth the change. And
absolutely.
And I like, you make a change and then you don't actually pay it off by building it up. And that to me is just changing the story to change the story. This is changing the story to tell the same story in a better and deeper way. And I won't mention the Sanderson thing. I just mentioned.
Let me just say better and deeper for television.
What do you mean than better and deeper for the books? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, so what do you mean by better and deeper then?
I don't mean better. I mean, like, those changes as well. Some of the changes are better. I mean,
you've got to bring some of it up to date because, like you said earlier, some of the things in the books don't translate to what we are, the world we live in right now.
I love Jordan. Love Jordan. I just think that there are some things that are not playable today and that are also spanking. We don't need the spanking.
Yeah.
Anyway. Agreed. Yeah.
Right. We've already cut that. We don't need them to get naked every time they're doing some sort of isolate ceremony.
Exactly.
Like, so, you're women. It's fine.
Movies.
Done. Like,
movies.
No
movies.
No movies.
Yeah.
So, and arms under the breast. And like, anyway, I'm just saying, like, but there are some things that are deepened and that are better. And that, like, in the first few books, Nynaeve and Egwene are, just we don't get the depth of their stories. We don't get the depth of Maureen's story until much later. And I think that these changes make the storytelling better so that we care about all of the characters from the beginning, so that suddenly in like season 5, we find out about Maureen's backstory and we're like, well, if I'd known that then I would have cared more. I just think, so that's what I mean by better. I don't mean like that the choices are, some of them.
With television, you have to make people care when they're watching. With stories, you have to make them care by the end of the book.
Exactly.
Or by the end of the trilogy, or, however many books it might end up being. You have to make them care for the whole thing by the end. You have to make them care for bits and pieces as you go, at least in books or chunks. Television, they have to care the moment it's on the screen.
And and here, so Meg, not to jump into season 2, but this is my example of better. deepening and better. Arguably, episode 5, 6, the Egwene episode, Egwene getting tortured episode in season 2, is arguably better than one paragraph in the books.
Oh, 100%.
But it is the exact same part of the story.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to elaborate.
Thank you. All right, that's my elaborate.
Because I'm not gonna lie, it sounded like you'd been like, "What? It's better?" You know? I was like,
"You don't mean that."
Like, like, yeah, no. You wanted Jen to elaborate because you knew how she meant it, but the fans listening didn't.
Thank you. Sorry.
And this is where sisters being awesome with each other comes in.
High horse, off my high horse. I shrank down now. I can't reach my microphone anymore.
Bless. No, I love doing this block discussion. I think this is great.
Yeah, I like it. I like it in the blocks. It's good.
Yeah, I'm glad we've moved to that format instead of doing an episode each. So thank you, Nils, for joining us live. Appreciate that.
Hi, Nils.
And hey, Nils, we love you. And folks, if you want to listen to us live and obviously be able to watch us as well, which is the only way you can watch us, see our faces, because you can quote watch us on YouTube when I upload it later, but it's just a static. Well, it's not a static, but it's like just a video image of a graphic. Then you just hop over to Patreon and you can join us there. Go to the Valkyrie Talks one and you'll be able to watch us as we record every other week. But other than that, please go over to our social medias. So we're on Twitter at 3wheelpod. We are on Instagram 3.wheeling. And now we're on Blue Sky, ladies.
Woo, yippee!
Which is also 3wheelpod. So yeah, you can go and follow those. We'll be posting out our links and all that sort of fun stuff. And while you're listening to us, please go to the little rate and review section. Tell us how awesome we are. And
we would love to read your 5-star reviews. Only 5-star reviews are accepted.
We will read. Rob will learn how to speak, and we will read 5-star reviews out at some point. I just feel like people don't rate podcasts very much these days. It feels like but go and do it, please, now, and we will love you eternally for it. And
I like to hear all the good things. Wait, okay, are we doing water positivity and third wheel and whatnot?
Do you know what? I realized we do water positivity last time.
We did not do water positivity.
We did not do water positivity. We missed it on episode 14. So we need 2. I'm sure that's going to be a real struggle. Meg, I feel like you maybe had a water positivity in that case by the way you reminded us of it. And now she's like, "No, I don't, Rob. Shut up."
Oh, Megan does. Megan does. Just share it. Just say it. Just do it. Come on. Okay, I'll do a water positivity for Meg.
Okay.
I'm going to do it for Megan. This is a lovely water positivity. And I actually shared it last night at dinner when I was out with friends. So there. Megan is a high school teacher, and another high school teacher at her school who teaches physics apparently showed a movie in their classroom. And the movie, it was October Sky, and there's a teacher in October Sky who like really affects the lives of the kids in that story. And so one of the prompting questions after they watched the movie was, is there a person in your life who is like this teacher who really cares in these kids? And it wasn't like it has to be a teacher. It was just like, is there somebody in your life? And one of the students in this class said, yes, Miss Pryor is like this for me. And she is a very positive influence in my life. And she doesn't treat me like I'm stupid. And she is like this character for me. And so this other teacher made a point of texting Megan to tell her about this because it was so meaningful. And I think that is very sweet and very beautiful, but also a real testament to you as a teacher. You are a really uplifting and wonderful teacher.
It's very sweet.
Yeah. There are a lot of tough jobs in this world, and one of those tough jobs is teaching.
It's the hardest
generation.
Hardest.
And kudos to you for doing it, because I can't stand kids. Like, I love my nephew. I love my nephew dearly. He's like 16 now, so it's obviously a very different relationship. But when he was a kid, especially like the age you teach, I was just like, yay, cool, hang out for a little bit, like hock him up on sugar and shit like that. Here's a gift or whatever if it's your birthday or Christmas. We'll talk a bit, play a game or something, and then be like, go back to your mother now. Like I love like having a kid that I can give back.
Right.
I'm jealous of that. What? Did I say that out loud?
It's all right, they're not in the room. It takes a lot of work to do that, not only with your own children, who are beautiful and hilarious from the little bit I've seen them, but to educate other people's children day in, day out. And teaching is genuinely, like I lived in a big house share, and one of the people in the house share was a teacher. And not only did she leave the house at like 6:45 in the morning, didn't get back till nearly 7 p.m. at night, but she had to work like 6 hours on her Sunday as well to mark grades and all those bits and pieces. Like, it is not, go to school, do the schoolwork, maybe mark a couple of books and go home type thing. It is, 10, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, plus extra work at the weekends quite often. It is not what it looks to be in terms of like, you do like 6 hours and you go home and it's easy. Like, no, it's not. I've seen that evidenced by someone I've lived with who was a school teacher. So, kudos to you, Meg. And I'm glad, that someone recognized you for the difference you make. So.
Especially for my content area. Like, there's always that, I always see that people like redoing the guy that's like a stand-up comedian, and he's like, here's a job. What's it going to be? Oh, you're going to force kids to learn math. Like, nobody wants to learn math.
Yes, Meg teaches maths, everybody.
Yes,
so
very well.
She does.
Yeah,
so, I love that.
I try.
Yeah. My water positivity is a little selfish. We'll add that in. And we saw him last time, and I don't know why I didn't mention him. He has come in twice while we've been recording, but he did not choose to come up on my lap. He would not let me pick him up either. But I got a cat a few weeks ago. So he has really warmed up to me. We've had cuddles. He won't sit on my lap or anything like that. He won't sleep on the bed with me, but he will lay on the couch next to me, purr his ass off. He will let me pick him up occasionally. He adores when I play with him. And he has decided when he wants to eat, and has learned that, has decided that meowing at me will get that. Him and I argue. I'm like, no, it's too early, or you're not going to get it just because you're meowing at me, because otherwise that's a bad habit I'm not going to instill in you. But he has filled a beautiful hole because it was just me living alone, and I love having him around, and he is a sweetie. So, it's positive to have a pet. So, and now I'm also like just obsessed with getting him stuff. I got a scratch it the other day, which I put together whilst I was ill and smothered in catnip, and he went mad for. So,
that's so funny to watch, though.
It is, and then because I built it in front of the couch where I was like just sort of, stationed for the day. And then I went and put it where it should be. After he played on it where I'd put it, he then went back to where I built it, because that's where I sprinkled it on its side with the catnip. Obviously, some had fallen on the carpet, and he's then licking the carpet and rolling around on the carpet and stuff like that. It's like, of course you are. Of course you are. I'm going to have to get a strong supply of catnip because he really enjoys it. But yeah.
Oh, that's so
part of the positivities there. Like, people, I understand if you're not into animals, it's fine. You don't have to be into animals, but there's something. It's been probably 10 years since I've had a cat, and there's a lot of beauty in in a companion. So,
true.
Yeah. Meg, are we sticking with you being the third wheel because you were uncomfortable with Jen and I doing our ASMR voices of, hello,
yeah,
welcome to Three Wheeling.
I like that.
And I've maintained a little. It's a little bit higher now, but I've maintained a little bit of my morning voice.
There is a
my voice is always just this high. It only goes higher.
When you are. Was there another reason for someone to be the third wheel?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
And wait, no, Meg, were you sold on the form of who wasn't sold on the form of foxhead medallion of some type?
Me, I do not believe in it.
Right. Whereas Meg, you and I were a bit like, I think he's got something.
He's got something.
Okay, so folks, you at home will just have to tweet us,
let us know,
or post on Instagram,
or
Blue Sky us. Yeah, I think like Skies of Time might be one of the hashtags they're looking at. I think we're all working on this as a community.
I was trying to think about that. Yeah, I like Skies of Time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just have to comment on us and be like, actually, I think it's Meg because of the ASMR, or I think it's Jen because of the amulet, the foxhead medallion thing, or I think it's Rob because he always tries to make it one of the other two. So
I love it. I think as we gain more followers, I think we can make it into a poll at the end of every episode.
Yes, absolutely.
You tell us.
Yes. So I love that. But yeah, that's it, folks. So yeah, until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. Once again, we've proven that even when you're the third wheel,
you can always find a place to fit in.
Join us next time.
On three-wheeling.
On three-wheeling.
On freewheeling.